So how you respond to that? Many people are interested to know.
Something relating to Bhubaneswar and Cuttack.
Hello everybody, welcome to Orissapost Live. So with the rollout of the Motor Vehicle Amendment Act 2019, a lot of debate is going on in the state. So right now we will try to interact with Mr. Commissioner and get his reaction on the rollout and the implementation of the new legislation. So Mr. Sarangi, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for joining Orissapost Live. Now this new central law that has come into effect is sparking a lot of debate in the public. Many people are fumed with the hefty fines imposed by this law.
This law was actually drafted by a committee of 20 transport ministers of states, and then it has gone through a process of rigorous debate and discussion in the entire country for a period of last 10 years. It was with the Lok Sabha standing committee for nearly 2 years, then another standing committee in Rajya Sabha for 2 years. All the state governments had agreed to this particular law. We the people, we have given ourselves this law thinking that we will reduce fatalities in accidents, which is currently about 1,50,000 people a year. Now when the implementation started, many people are complaining that the penalty amounts are higher than what they expected. One way to look at it is that certain offences in which fine was 100 rupees in the year 1988 has now become 1,000 rupees. So one natural understanding would be that this is normalizing inflation. The non-compoundable offences, things like drunken driving or driving a polluted vehicle that is emitting higher levels of harmful gases. Now those vehicles, that norms have been made very, very stringent.
Recently the Chief Minister announced some relaxation when it comes to the paper related formalities for the vehicles to be checked by the police department. So right now, what traffic offences police think is not going to be tolerated?
I think what exactly happened was there was certain enforcement carried out by the transport department, because from the beginning as the police commissioner I was very, very clear in telling the people through the media that we are not looking at any papers whatsoever. We were not prosecuting anyone because of that. We were looking at 5 issues, that is not wearing helmet, triple riding, not carrying seat belt, drunken driving and driving on the wrong side. So this is what we were enforcing. But what happened was certain complications were created when the transport department carried out certain prosecutions which people were not able to differentiate between what the transport department was doing and what we were doing. Then a set of panic was created in the social media because pollution, for example, 10,000 rupees for not having a PUC, naturally people were very, very nervous about it. They knew that they are violating the law and anyone can catch them and demand 10,000 rupees. So they were deeply concerned. So therefore, to calm down nerves, very rightly government at the highest level has announced that people have 3 months to come to compliance with these laws. The non-compoundable part of the law, things like pollution norms, things like alcohol, drinking with alcohol, they cannot be compounded by any state government whatsoever. So I would suggest to people that do not panic.
With the implementation of the new central law, there are a lot of confusion among people on certain things. Like many people are interested to know if they can show their license, digital licenses through DigiLocker or M-Parivahan mobile apps. So will the police accept that?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I made it very, very clear that you are supposed to carry original papers or alternatively a digital version of the document kept in your DigiLocker. You use M-Parivahan and download it. And besides, let me be very clear, we are using these handheld devices, so we can check your document on the Bahan and Sarathi website while prosecuting you. But do have a driving license. The issue is not about checking your paper. The issue is about you not having a valid driving license.
You're accepting DigiLocker and M-Parivan?
Yes, absolutely. We are accepting, but as I said, at the moment or to begin with, right from 25th August when we started preparing for 1st of September, we were not checking.
What if a person is not having that amount of money which is mandated as per the law for that particular traffic offence? On that spot, if somebody...
Let's divide all the offences into two categories, compoundable and non-compoundable. Compoundable offences are those where you can pay a spot fine and go away. But if you say that I do not have the money, then you can always ask the police officer to send a prosecution to the court, in which case you appear in the court through your lawyer. The only problem is in that case you may have to pay a higher fine amount and you may have to pay the cost. So usually people prefer, instead of going to court on 2 days or 3 days and running around and hiring a lawyer, etc., to pay the spot fine and make sure that they do not commit the same offence again. As regards non-compoundable provisions are concerned, anyway those powers remain with the courts.
This is another issue related to the safety of traffic police who are stationed at those areas checking the papers. Sometimes now with this hefty fines as per this new law, so this is very likely that more feuds between the public and police can happen. So what you are doing to ensure the safety of the traffic police?
Our traffic personnel in Cuttack, Bhubaneswar carry body cams. So
is it 100% now?
Yes, for those who are involved in enforcement, they are carrying 100% body cams. So that is on record. And also we pick up areas where we have CCTV cameras. So we have events on record. So that's one aspect of it. But there is a broader philosophical issue in our country of general resentment towards law and general non-compliance to law. Who are we protesting against? After all, we are not your enemies. We are nobodies. Your anger is against the law and you do not want to follow the law and you do not want to pay the fine. It's an issue is that you are in conflict with law and police is merely enforcing, because that's the duty given to the police.
Mr. Sarangi, there were news reports which suggested, which claim that the police department in Odisha is planning to have point of sale machines with the traffic cops.
We have a system like that.
So right now, what is the percentage of these machines?
There is no shortage of machines.
POS machine available?
Yeah, it's available plentifully, and every mobile telephone that we have, it has a mobile app called Arakhi, which has a mobile prosecution icon. You press it, you prosecute, you enter the challan and number, the transaction details, and the transaction takes place.
This could be paid online?
It can be paid online.
With
yes.
that acknowledgement number?
Yes, with the transaction number. You pay it and give the transaction details, it is recorded.
So either you have this point of machine at source, or you have this link where you can pay online?
Yes, you can do it. But the real problem is not that. Real problem is to motivate people to understand that this law is going to be a permanent feature in your life, that instead of being in conflict with this law, the state government has given you time, get in compliance with the law. It is good for the nation, good for society.
Mr. Sarangi, you recently started a new innovation, like using more of the social media to reach out to the people and directly answering the queries of the citizens. How you see your use of social media, Twitter, is helping in better policing, connecting the police to the people? What is your feedback you get?
Social media is absolutely a part of our life today, and there are many people on the social media, and we felt that one of the reasons why people had many misapprehensions was that they believed to partly rumors and partly jokes about law enforcement on Twitter or on Facebook. Many of the things, many of the jokes about the police, many of the non-compliance by the police, that really triggered a level of anger where people were saying, these police guys, they do not follow any rules, nothing applies to them, but they are ruthlessly enforcing law on us. So that was fueling anger as well as a lot of rumors. So we tried to assuage their feelings, their anger, and try to tell them it's nothing to do with us, it's about your safety. If you do not want to wear a helmet, your life is in danger, not that of the policeman who is persuading you or prosecuting you for not wearing the helmet. So it's not about the police at all. It's about people. It's about people traveling, driving safe. It's about preventing the 1,50,000 deaths that we have in a year, and that should be the focus.
There's number of complaints online. Sometimes the users send this photos and videos about policemen not complying to the traffic rules. So we want a commitment from you. We want to take your reaction. But whenever you come to get this kind of information that a particular policeman is not following the traffic rule, what will you do?
No, I would expect all police officers to comply the law. Second is
There are some citizens complain.
second I'll tell you what actually happened.
Yeah.
People picked up many old clips from YouTube, from various things, and they started throwing it at us. There was a time when the people are angry at the police, they will be throwing brick bats. Today they do not throw big bats, they throw tweets at you. So this is a different world. We have been advising our own people to behave better. There are certain circumstances in which police will have to move in the wrong way when they have to reach a place to come to rescue of a person who is seeking police help.
We talked about emergency situation.
Yeah, the emergency situation. That's the global tradition. That's a global system where policemen do that. Similarly, if policemen are on security duty, they can go standing near the car of the VIP. So you can't then prosecute them because part of operational requirement. But more or less our police officers have to be careful, and we have carried out various sensitization activities.
Recently, the state capital witnessed the infamous case of Rajmahal clash between police and the public. So right now some days have passed. What is the prima facie information right now you have? What actually triggered that outrage from the people?
I think it was a lot of rumor that was going around. A particular lady journalist hyped it up, and she asked the police officer to show papers, and then a group of auto drivers reached there. They have been thrown out of the business because they do not have any permit. I hope they get the permit because it's just 1,750 rupees for 5 years. They should get their permit, and they wanted to ventilate their anger. When I reached there, I felt that live telecast of a law and order event violating all norms of prescribed by the Government of India was wrong, and that gave the impression, because people see what they see. It was happening in a small patch of land where there were only 50 people congregating, but it was made to appear as if there is a big thing happening there. So that's media age. We saw it in 9/11 how media misused its role, and thereafter Government of India has given instructions.
So I hope there any need at that point of time to lathi charge?
Let me tell you, there are a couple of things. One is that live telecast of any law and order event is a strict no. That's the law. That's a violation of your licensing condition. You cannot carry out. It can be deferred live, right? It has to be deferred live so that the violence does not spread, lawlessness does not spread. So you have to wait for that lawlessness to end before you can show it live. You cannot tomorrow show a terrorist incident, right? Second is, if suppose in place of the altercation between under 129 CRPC, once an assembly is declared unlawful and a police officer is announcing in the loudspeaker that please leave this place, everyone has to leave. Law applies equally to everyone. If you do not leave and the officer decides to use force, then that's a problem. And then we have given retro-reflective jackets to every media person, press written on it, and I found that they were not wearing that. And then fourth is, there is a section in Indian Penal Code called 149 IPC, and 149 is called common objective. That is, when you join a rioting mob, an assembly of unlawful people, more than 5, then even if your intention was different, like your intention was collecting news, which you think is your duty and right, you actually have shared the common objective and you become liable under 149 IPC. So it becomes very complex. I have had detailed discussion with the concerned media professionals, and we will try to make sure that similar things do not happen.
Recently, the Odisha police boasted about having drones chosen for aerial surveillance. So is it going on regularly? We don't see it on a regular basis on that stretch what we talked about.
The problem is that of lane driving. We find that drivers are just unaware of it. We just overwhelmed. We are looking at it because we thought very few people will be not knowing lane driving, but now we find that 80% of the drivers have no clue to what is lane driving.
So has the
it will
aerial
take some time.
surveillance stopped?
No, it is taking place, but
How
we
often?
will use more aerial devices as we go by. Now, you know,
So you
the
still
current
have the plans of
situation.
expansion of the aerial
Yes,
surveillance?
absolutely. Lane driving is something, as I can tell you, currently the issues that we are discussing in the media are non-issues. People can easily avail a driving license, registration certificate, insurance, pollution. That will not end the traffic congestion. The challenges that we face are that of ensuring lane driving, parking violations, wrong way entry. Those issues will come up. Let this initial euphoria and excitement get over, then we will come down to issues which I hope the media starts discussing. How do you handle parking? How do you handle driving licenses? So that's going to be a long term issue.
Thank you, Mr. Sarangi, for talking to Orissapost Live.
For more such videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel Orissapost Live.